there are also Muslim communities like in Michigan, and and over here you see the same. So, and you were mentioning from the book that there is an agenda going on between that there's a sort of deal going on between atheists and these Muslim people. So I'm just concerned and wondering what we are heading for here in Europe. Whether it will be a civilian war or do they want a silent takeover, like a destruction of our Western civilization?
Charissa, and by the way, we're speaking to Charissa from the Netherlands here in the Savage Nation, and Brian Sussman filling in for Michael. So, Charissa, I mean, you're in Europe. What are people saying regarding Angela Merkel? Why do they believe that she opened these floodgates for this Islamic migration? What are folks saying? There are different camps. There are people what we call the good Menschen, which means basically the good people that are standing behind her. But there are also concerned people who are worried and don't think that this is okay what she has done, that she has opened the gate, so to speak, and that there's no limit to the migration. There's of course Viktor Orban, the Prime Minister of Hungary, who has said that the leaders in Europe are traitors to their own people for doing what they are doing now. Right.
Yeah. So there's also
on a daily basis. How has life changed for you in the Netherlands? You've been watching this now for a period of time. Again, as you were mentioning, in the 60s, you had Muslims coming into the Netherlands just to be guest workers. Well, they never left. They stayed. There was chain migration. I'm guessing they probably have a lot of children. That's a part of their culture. So you've probably watched this community grow before your very eyes, and they want nothing to do with the culture that you grew up in, correct?
Basically, yes. Some, they hold on to their own culture. And I think that mainly because of their religion. So
what'll happen to you? What'll happen to the people of the Netherlands? What'll happen to the people of that region? You must have conversations with your friends and talk about your people.
A lot of people are scared. They are scared to speak their minds. They are also afraid to be called a racist when you speak out against it.
Of course.
When you criticize them. We have a politician named Geert Wilders. I'm sure you have heard of him.
Oh, yes.
Well, and he has the most voters in the Netherlands. So that tells me that, a whole lot of people are agreeing with him, but it's more, it's not in the open. It's more in an anonymous, you know what I mean? It's
for fear of being called a hater, for fear of being called an Islamophobe, people would rather not speak about it publicly, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and that same, Charissa, that same thing is happening here in the United States.
Yeah.
And the media goes along with it, and the government goes along with it, and everyone wants to pretend as if it doesn't exist because, oh my goodness, if you raise your voice right away, you're deemed a hater or an Islamophobe.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. And I think it's just very, very weird that it's now happening at your end and that it's happening here. So I see a global agenda behind it.
Yes.
Now you're just wondering from, who initiated this, What parties? Is it the money? Do you have to follow the money for it?
I will tell you, Charissa, I think it gets back to Michael Savage's book. And first of all, thank you for listening to this program. It's just wonderful to know that as a guest behind this microphone, I get to speak with brilliant and beautiful people like you. Second thing is, I think it has to do with Mike's book. But, Charissa, I'm going to get into that. I'm going to let you go. Thank you very much. You're the best. What a great caller. Just superior stuff here on the Savage Nation, as you would expect. Now, let me go back to Mike's book for just a moment, okay? So she said, did you hear her? This is a woman in the Netherlands. It's exactly what's happening here.
You don't talk about this publicly. If you talk about this, you're a hater. What's the matter with you? Are you Islamophobe? What's the matter with you? A racist? Don't talk about it. No, you can't do that. So there, everything's stacked against you to the point where people keep quiet, which is just how this movement has been able to flourish and grow over time. Fear, intimidation, point of the sword, beheadings, whatever it takes. Now let's go to Michael's book for just a moment. May I? Because Michael here is talking in Government Zero about how you've got the atheist Marxists working in tandem with the Islamofascists because there's the same goal: bring down Western civilization. Now, I'm going to quote right from Savage's book. Remember the driving principle of the 1960s radicals. Bring it all down, man. Both groups believe in absolute autocratic rule over the people. They want to run every aspect of your life. The progressive may be atheists and the Islamofascists, religious fanatics, but they both want to take away your freedom of religion. And they want to take away your economic freedom. If you haven't noticed, every Islamic nation has a socialist economy. That's because socialism and autocracy are one and the same. Savage, Government Zero. There you go. We'll take your calls in just a moment. I can't wait. Brian Sussman filling in on this, The Savage Nation.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
My Savage Nation is sponsored by SwissAmerica.com, the only company I trust to protect my wealth with gold and silver. Call 800-BUICO.
So now we've gotten to the story of the day. No, it's not the Keystone Pipeline. No, it's not presidential politics. It's Islam in America. You just heard a riveting interview from a woman calling from the Netherlands, listening to Savage Nation streaming live. And she told us what she's been seeing now throughout the course of her lifetime in the Netherlands. And it was chilling. And what she was doing was giving us a warning of what's going to happen in this country unless somebody stops this crazy thing. And might I add, Government Zero, Savage's book, provides 41 solutions for America. Now let's go to the callers. Mike, WVNN, thanks for checking in on this, The Savage Nation. Go right ahead. Brian Sussman filling in.
Hey, Brian, let me give your listeners something to look at. It's called the Holy Land Foundation trial in 2007. There was in a search warrant that took place in Switzerland in 1982, they discovered a document that outlined the entire takeover of the West. And it was called Islamophobia, use of the propaganda machine against the West itself. And it's exactly what they did. If they'll Google that or go online and look at the Holy Land Foundation trial, you'll find the program actually listed in there as far back as 1982. It's called Islamophobia. And on university campuses, they were actually giving out Qurans by the FBI. And if I can get an email, I'll send you guys a copy of it as far back as 2011, where the United States Attorney, the Department of Justice, and the FBI was actually handing out free Qurans at taxpayer expense.
This is all true. Everything you're telling us is absolutely true, and you're bringing back some memories that have escaped me to this point. The Holy Land Foundation. Just do your research on that, folks, and you will come up with the treasure trove, indeed, of what's happening in America today. The Holy Land Foundation. They have a lot in common with the folks at CARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations. Go ahead and do the research for yourself, Mike. Thanks for your call on this, The Savage Nation. Well, you know, if nothing else, it is a soft invasion of America. Bob, WMAL, you're on The Savage Nation. Go right ahead, please.
Yeah, hey, I got two quick things to say. We are being invaded, and every God-fearing American ought to go out and buy himself a weapon and reform. And I have a little ditty about Governor Joe Brown. Would you like to hear it real quick?
Governor Jerry Brown out here in California?
Yep.
Yep, go ahead. Governor Moonbeam. Go ahead.
Come and listen to my story about a man named Brown. The guy just wanted to know how much oil's in his ground. He asked his government to tell him how much oil he's got. And if he can't drill it out, he's going to grow pot.
Very good. Bob, thank you very much. We needed a laugh on the Savage Nation. That's my Governor Jerry Brown out here on the left coast. Actually using state resources to determine how much oil and natural gas are on his personal property. Completely illegal by all accounts. He won't even get as much as a slap on the wrist for it. You can bet your bottom dollar. Good job. Taking us back to the Beverly Hillbillies. Of course, Obama came out today, speaking of oil, and he said no to the Keystone Pipeline. A lot of you want to pop off on that, and I don't blame you. Such a pleasure to be behind this microphone. Brian Sussman, right here. All right, Brian Sussman here, filling in for Michael Savage on this, The Savage Nation. Let me just go back to the book Government Zero one more time. This is Michael's new book. It's hot. Hot, hot, hot. It's going to go from number 3 to number 1 on the New York Times list, my guess is. This thing is selling big time. Now, let me just read this from the book because it really applies nicely to what we've been talking about now on The Savage Nation. If a progressive Islamic takeover sounds unbelievable to you, I'm not surprised, Michael writes. The media continues to bend over backward to support a president who will not even say the word Islamic when he talks about the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria. They call themselves Islamic, but the president says they aren't. Okay, stop there. Now, this goes back to the caller we had earlier this hour from the Netherlands listening to the Savage Nation streaming, as millions of people do. And she said, what we're seeing in our country is a slow takeover. And she said they do this by making it such that they, this nebulous they, the powers that be, they've been able to do this in such a way that if you dare talk about the Muslim immigration crisis, you must be a racist. If you dare criticize Sharia law, you must be a hater. If you show concern about your culture being eaten up by this migration, you're an Islamophobe. This is exactly what we have here. Savage nails it in Government Zero. Okay, now, let's go to Bill. Bill's calling from California. Bill's checking in on the left coast. Go ahead, Bill. You're on the Savage Nation. You're on the air.
Yeah, I'm actually calling from Connecticut. I'm listening on a California radio station.
Oh, good. Excellent. Well, you're bi-coastal. What can I say?
What I was going to say is this business of being calling racist. See, I've been hearing that for years. It used to be that when we complained about illegal immigration from South America, we were racist because we didn't want to, contaminate our culture. The fact is now we've got a vicious enemy called the Islamophobe, who are coming in here not as religious people, but to take over the country. And it's time that the Republican Party, which is the only party that I can see that it will happen, they've got to come out and call a spade a spade. They've got to say what's going on. But they're all afraid to do it, and they're all afraid of being called racist.
You're right. They won't do it. They won't do it, Bill. We might get, I don't know, I'm looking at the cast of characters running for president. You might get a Donald Trump to go there. You might get a Ben Carson to go there. Who else might? Maybe Mike Huckabee, but he's kind of out of the picture now, I guess. I don't know. Who else is going to go there? You got to go there. This is the problem of the day. This is the crisis of the day. This is the issue that will take this country down. Yes, we've got a huge debt. Absolutely. Yes, government is way too big. But the radical Islam problem is the problem that's going to take down this world. Would you agree?
Yes, I absolutely agree. And Donald Trump has taken a stand against illegal immigration. And
yes, but calling this type of illegal immigration, or better yet, calling this type of legal immigration the wrong thing to do, needs to be done. Somebody needs to say it.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%.
All right. Listen, thank you for your call. This is